Hi everyone, it's Rob, Yoga Dad, and this is just a short cool down session that I do at the end of my body coach app workout. I hope you really enjoy it. So we're going to start laying on our backs. We're going to extend our left leg out, right knee in towards the front of the upper body, hands clasped around the right shin. So we gently apply pressure across the right shin, right thigh in towards upper body, left heel away, in opposite direction to that right knee. Feeling the stretch along the back of the right leg and along the inseam of the left. Holding that for about 30 seconds or so. And then we're going to slowly bend the left knee, shift the hips now across towards the right side, rolling onto the outside of the left hip. We'll bring the right knee across the body, and then we're going to take our left hand and bring it outside the right knee, the right knee, and then the opposite arm out of T position in the opposite direction. Gaze either up towards the ceiling or looking over that opposite arm. Now feel free to use a block or a cushion underneath that right knee if you need it, just for a bit of extra support. Key things here: shoulders opening up towards the ceiling, hips rotating around towards the long side of the mat. Bring it back to the centre again with both knees. Do the same on the opposite side. So right heel, right foot away. Left knee in towards upper body, hands clasped around the left shin. Pressing down, left thigh in towards front of the upper body, stretch along the back of the left leg, inseam of the right. Shoulders nice and open up towards the ceiling. Relax down onto the mat. Holding that for about 30 seconds. And then bending the right knee, left foot down, hips across towards the left side of the mat. Roll onto the outside of the right. Right hand this time across the outside of the left knee, left arm reaching away, either look up towards the ceiling or across that left shoulder. And if it feels at all as though that left shoulder is lifting up, the same applies for the right. Just gently lift the knee back up towards the ceiling. Again, it will just help to settle the shoulder back down again. So one side might feel quite different. You should really feel the stretch along the outside of the hip on either side. Also some lateral movement here for the spine. Space across the chest and the shoulders. Back to the centre again. Knees now in towards the centre. Hugging the knees in. We bring the hands around the back of the legs as we rock ourselves up into an all fours position. In our all fours, hands out to shoulder distance apart. So knees underneath the hips. We're going to inhale, lift the crown of the head up. Exhale, chin to chest. 4 more like that. Really focus on that length all the way from the base of the neck down towards the tailbone. That space that you're creating between and across the chest, between the arms. Also engaging the abdominal muscles, drawing the belly button in towards the spine. 1 more like that, and then back down. So from there, we're going to take our left, just turn myself out towards the front, left hand just out a little bit wider than the shoulder, left elbow across left wrist, right arm out towards the side. We're going to gently lower the right shoulder down towards the floor as we look over our left elbow. And then options to move that right arm up towards the top corner of the room, pointing in that general direction, lowering back down again. Same towards the bottom corner of the room, still looking over that left elbow, allowing the front of the body weight just to open up space across the top of that right shoulder, right arm back down towards the centre. From there, left hand towards the centre of the mat, right hand around the back of the head, lift our right elbow up towards the ceiling, and across the body, left elbow crease. 4 more like that. Just opens things up again across the chest and the shoulders, lateral movement against the spine. 1 more like that before we do the other side. Right hand back down, right hand this time out that little bit wider than the shoulder, right elbow across right wrist, left arm out towards the side. And one side might feel quite different as you lower the front of the upper body down, opening up across the front of the left shoulder this time. Back up towards the centre, left arm towards the top corner of the room this time. Looking over that right elbow, really feeling that contact through the palms onto the floor as you open things up. And rotating around, pressing onto the outside of that left hand, Just helps with that rotation, opening across the front of the left shoulder, looking over the right elbow, and then back up. Right hand towards the centre, left hand around the back of the head, left elbow up and across the body. 4 more like that. Again, just go slowly or as quickly as feels good to you. Couple more, lifting that left elbow up, opening up across the chest, driving down to that right hand, and then back down again. From there, we take our fingertips towards the top of the mat, knees towards the bottom, hips towards the heels, lowering front of the upper body down. That feels uncomfortable at all, either use a block or just cross the forearms over one another, rest in the forehead, onto the back of the arms. Otherwise, with our fingers out in front, really feeling that length along the side body, down from the fingertips towards the hips and the heels. From there, lifting the front of the upper body forward, knees back in towards the hands just ever so slightly, still with the toes tucked under. We're going to lift our hips up towards the ceiling into a downward dog, maybe walking the feet in ever so slightly. And then we arrive there, head nice and relaxed, looking back between the legs, powering down through the hands towards the hips, from the hips down towards the heels, that are lifting one at a time up off the mat, feeling that length from the back of the legs. Taking the knees now back down towards the floor. We're going to take ourselves into a low lunge. So right foot forward, if you need it, just a blanket cushion under that back knee if it's uncomfortable at all. And from there, we're just going to sink our hips forward and down towards the floor, length along the upper body towards the ceiling. Just holding that for a few more breaths. And then gently bringing the hands now down onto the mat, along the inside of the right foot, and just walk the right toes out towards the side. Just create a little bit more space across the inside of the right hip, lowering the upper body down towards the floor. And if it feels available to you, just walking the hands forward of that front foot. Just sink the hips, front of the upper body down towards the floor, and feeling that opening along the inside of the right hip. Holding that for a few more breaths. Maybe even walking the hands out a little bit further for the final breath, before bringing the hands back in towards the foot. And then we take our right knee back alongside left. Then we're back into our upright kneeling. We do the same on the opposite side. So left foot forward this time, hands across that left knee, sinking the hips forward and down, length along the upper body towards the ceiling. Feeling into that opening, particularly that stretch along the inside of the right hip, on the inside of the right thigh this time. Just sink the hips forward and down again towards the floor. Holding that for a few more breaths. And then slowly bringing the hands back down, left foot out towards the side. And then option as you bring the upper body down towards the floor is to walk the hands forward of that front foot. You lower the left shoulder, the outside of the left shoulder along the inside of the left knee. And feel into that opening now across the inside of the left thigh. Just sinking down towards the floor. And holding that for a couple more breaths. And then when you're ready, walking the hands back in. Take the left foot back alongside right. We just take our fingers back out towards the top of the mat. Knees just walk back that little bit further towards the bottom. Lowering the front of the upper body back down onto the floor again. And then slowly walking the hands back in towards the knees, lifting yourself up into a standing position, into a forward fold, knees bent as much as you need, hands up onto the shins with a flat back. Exhale, fold forward, bend the knees, arms out, up and overhead, and back towards the centre again. And there we are. That's the short cool down sessions that I typically do at the end of my body coach and body coach app workouts. I hope you've really enjoyed that session. Hope it set you up for the day and supported your recovery. Have an awesome day and see you again soon. Namaste.